Good afternoon, students. This is our first chapter of this unit. The print culture and the modern world is the first printed books. The earliest kind of print technology was developed in China, Japan, and Korea. This was a system of hand printing from AD 594 onwards. Books in China were printed by rubbing paper, also invented there, against the inked surface of wood blocks. As both sides of the thin porous sheet could not be printed, the traditional Chinese accordion book was folded and stitched at the side. Superbly skilled craftsmen could duplicate with remarkable accuracy the beauty of calligraphy. Students, first of all, I want to tell you one thing about this unit, that this unit is most important from the perspective of 1 marks question. So read it carefully and attentively so that you can give the answers of 1 marks questions in your board examination. Students, print culture was first developed in China, then Japan, and then in Korea. All of you know that these are our neighborhood countries in which print culture was first introduced in the form of hand printing. This was the system of hand printing at that time. In the beginning of this system in China, printing was done by rubbing paper. You know, the invention of paper was also done in China first. So the paper was rubbed against ink surface of wood blocks. Students, wood blocks means a block of wood from which wood cut prints are made. This was known as wood block printing. Wood block printing, or you can say block printing, is a technique for printing text, images or patterns by using the wood blocks. The paper of that time was so thin and porous that both the sides could not be printed, and therefore the traditional Chinese book, accordion book, it was the traditional Chinese book, it is 1 marks question here, was folded and stitched at the side. The craftsmen who were superbly skilled, without any mistake, without any correction, the beauty of calligraphy. Calligraphy means the art of beautiful and stylized handwriting, could make the duplicate. The imperial state in China was for a very long time the major producer of printed material. China possessed a huge bureaucratic system which recruited its personnel through civil service examinations. Textbooks for this examination were printed in vast numbers under the sponsorship of the imperial state. From the 16th century, the number of examination candidates went up, and that increased the volume of print. Students, here imperial means connected with an empire or its ruler. So China was the major producer of printed material for a very long time and possessed a huge bureaucratic system. Bureaucratic system, it was a system in which a set of rules that control the activities of people that work for large organizations and government, which recruited its personnel. Personnel means human resource, people, through civil service examinations. And for this examination, a vast number of textbooks were printed. As the number of examination candidates went up to pass this civil service examination, the volume of print also increased with this. So in the 16th century, to pass this civil service examination, a large number of textbooks were printed. By the 17th century, as urban culture bloomed in China, the uses of print diversified. Print was no longer used just by scholar officials. Merchants used print in their everyday life as they collected trade information. Reading increasingly became a leisure activity. The new readership preferred fictional narratives, poetry, autobiographies, anthologies of literary masterpieces, and romantic plays. Rich women began to read, and many women began publishing their poetry and plays. Wives of scholar officials published their works, and courtesans wrote about their lives. Students, as the urban culture was flourished in the China due to the spread of print, people moved to the cities in search of employment and work. The uses of print also diversified according to the needs of the pupil. All the different kinds of groups of people used print in their everyday life. Like merchants used print in their everyday life as they collected trade information. Reading increasingly became a leisure activity. Students, here leisure means free time when you don't have any work to do. So in their leisure time, people were reading something which was very interesting for them. They like to read fictional narratives. Fictional narrative means it is a form of writing in which the writer using the power of imagination. These are the imagination stories. Autobiographies, the story of a person's life written by that person. Anthologies of literary masterpieces. Anthology is a book that contains pieces of writing or poems, often on the same subject by different authors. And romantic plays. Rich women begin to read, and many women begin publishing their poetry and plays also. Wives of scholar officers publish their own works, and courtesans, that is prostitutes, wrote about their lives also. This new reading culture was accompanied by a new technology. Western printing techniques and mechanical presses were imported in the late 19th century as Western powers established their outposts in China. Shanghai became the hub of the new print culture, catering to the Western style schools. From hand printing, there was now a gradual shift to mechanical printing. As the reading culture was increasing among different classes or groups of people, it was accompanied. Means to go together with somebody or something by a new technology, for which Western printing techniques and mechanical presses were imported into China in the late 19th century. As Western powers established their outpost. Outpost means a small town or a small place in China. Shanghai became the hub of the new print culture, as the print culture was mostly developed in the Shanghai city of China, because mostly printing work was done in the city Shanghai. That's why it became the hub of the new print culture. Catering to the Western style schools, from hand printing there was now a gradual shift to mechanical printing. Gradually, hand printing was converting or was to shift to mechanical printing in the China. Whatever was printed by the hands or by wood blocks, that was converted or that was changed to mechanical printing. It means that was printed by the machines or presses also. So students, here are some questions as answered, like how print culture has evolved, what is its history, and how print culture has shaped to the modern or contemporary world. As the print culture had started from the China in the form of hand printing, and after that it was shifted to mechanical printing.